The wind screamed through the pines, like a wounded animal. I'd lived in these mountains for 3 years. And I thought I'd seen every kind of winter storm Colorado could throw at me. I was wrong. It was February. The kind of February that makes you question why humans ever thought settling in high altitudes was a good idea. My cabin sat at 8,000 feet, tucked into a valley so remote that my nearest neighbor was 12 miles away. I liked it that way. After everything that happened in Denver, the divorce, losing my job, watching my entire life collapse like a house of cards. I needed the silence. I needed the emptiness. But that night, the silence was shattered. I was chopping wood behind the cabin when I heard it. A sound that didn't belong.
Did you hear that?
High-pitched.
What was that?
Desperate.
I heard
Almost
something.
human,
Stay
but not
still.
quite.
Just listen.
I stopped mid-swing, the axe frozen above my head. And I listened. Nothing but wind. I was about to dismiss it as my imagination when I heard it again. Crying. Something was crying in the woods. Every instinct told me to go inside. Lock the door. And let nature handle its own business. That's rule number 1 up here. Don't interfere. The mountains have their own way of sorting things out. And humans who think they can play hero usually end up making things worse. But something about that sound crawled under my skin and wouldn't let go. I grabbed my flashlight and followed the noise into the tree line. The snow was coming down so hard. I could barely see 3 feet in front of me. The temperature had to be well below 0. My breath crystallized in the air. And even with my heavy coat, I could feel the cold trying to work its way into my bones. The crying got louder. Weaker, but louder. And then I saw him. He was tiny. Maybe 8 or 9 pounds. His gray fur was matted with ice and snow. And he was curled up against the base of a fallen tree, shaking so violently I thought he might break apart. His eyes. Those impossibly blue eyes. They locked onto mine with a desperation that hit me like a punch to the chest. A wolf pup. Couldn't have been more than a few weeks old. I should have walked away. I knew what this meant. His pack had abandoned him. In the wild, that's a death sentence.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
And nature doesn't make mistakes like that. Weak pups get left behind.
Come on.
That's how the species stays strong.
We'll find a way.
If I took him, I'd be
You're
interfering with something much
okay.
bigger than myself. But those eyes.
Whimper.
God, those eyes.
I won't hurt you.
I knelt down in the snow. And he didn't run. He didn't even flinch. He just looked at me, like I was his last hope in the entire world. His tiny body was so cold that when I touched him, it felt like touching ice. His heartbeat was barely there. A faint, irregular flutter against my palm. Without thinking, I unzipped my coat and scooped him up. He was so light. Too light. I tucked him inside, against my chest, and zipped the coat back up. His shaking gradually slowed, as my body heat began to seep into him.
Stay warm.
I felt his tiny heart beating against mine. And something in my own chest cracked open. Something I thought had frozen solid, years ago. I ran back to the cabin through the blizzard, holding him close, feeling his shallow breathing against my ribs. When I got inside, I went straight to the fireplace and built the fire up until the cabin was almost uncomfortably warm. I pulled the pup out gently and laid him on a blanket near the hearth. He didn't move. For a terrible moment, I thought I was too late. Then his eyes opened. Those incredible blue eyes. And he looked at me again. I'd been alone for so long. 3 years of self-imposed isolation. 3 years of convincing myself that I didn't need anyone. that I was better
Thank
off
you.
on my own. And here I was, on my knees in front of a dying wolf pup, feeling more connected to another living being than I had in years. "Hey, little guy," I whispered. "You're going to be okay." I had no idea if that was true. I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew I was going to try. I named him Storm. It seemed appropriate. Those first few days were touch and go. I heated up milk. Cow's milk was all I had, and fed it to him drop by drop, using a cloth. He was too weak to drink properly, so I had to be patient. Hour after hour, I sat with him by the fire, trying to will him back to life. He slept most of the time. When he was awake, he watched me with those penetrating blue eyes, studying me like I was the most fascinating thing he'd ever seen. I wondered what he was thinking. Did he understand that I'd saved him? Did he know that I was human, and that humans and wolves weren't supposed to be friends? On the third day, he started to improve. He drank more eagerly. His shaking stopped. He even tried to stand up, though his legs were still too weak and he tumbled over immediately. But there was a spark in his eyes now, a determination. By the end of the first week, he was walking. Wobbling, really. Like a drunk stumbling out of a bar. But walking. He followed me everywhere I went in the cabin. Kitchen. Bedroom. Bathroom. It didn't matter. If I was there, he wanted to be there too. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself that as soon as spring came and he was strong enough, I'd release him back into the wild where he belonged. That was the plan. That was the right thing to do. But as the weeks turned into months, the plan got harder and harder to stick to. Storm grew fast. By March, he'd tripled in size. His baby blue eyes started to shift toward amber, and his coat thickened into something magnificent. Silver gray with darker markings along his back. He was beautiful. Wild and powerful, even as a juvenile. But more than that, he was mine. And I was his. We developed routines.
Good morning, partner.
Every morning, I'd wake up with him curled
Morning,
against my
partner.
side. His warmth better than any blanket. We'd go outside together, and I'd watch him play in the snow, chasing birds he'd never catch, pouncing on shadows. He'd look back at me every few minutes, making sure I was still there, making sure I was watching. In the evenings, we'd sit by the fire. I'd read old paperback novels I'd brought from
I just
Denver,
needed to tell someone.
and he'd rest his head on my lap.
I knew you'd
Sometimes
understand.
I'd talk to him, tell him things I'd never
told
told
anyone
another
about that
soul,
night.
about
Guilt
my
stays with
ex-wife,
me.
about the
You-
business that
You
failed,
understand, don't you?
about how I'd felt like such a complete failure that I'd run away to the mountains to hide from the world. He never judged. He just listened with those knowing eyes. And somehow, that was enough. I knew it was wrong. I knew I was making him too comfortable with humans, that I was taking away his wildness. But I couldn't help it. For the first time in years, I wasn't alone. For the first time in years, I had a reason to get up in the morning. Storm had saved me, just as much as I'd saved him. Spring arrived like an apology. The snow melted, revealing meadows full of wildflowers. The creek behind my cabin swelled with runoff, and the forest came alive with birds and deer, and all the creatures that had hidden through winter. Storm was nearly full-grown now. He stood almost 3 feet tall at the shoulder and weighed close to 80 pounds. He was lean and muscular, built for speed and endurance. When he ran through the meadows, he was poetry in motion. Graceful and powerful, and completely wild. Except he wasn't wild. Not really. He still slept in my cabin. He still followed me everywhere. He still looked at me with absolute trust and devotion. And that was the problem. The ranger showed up in early May. I was outside splitting wood when I heard the truck coming up the mountain road. Storm's ears perked up immediately, and a low growl rumbled in his chest. I put my hand on his head. Easy, boy. Easy. The ranger. A woman in her 50s named Sarah Chen.
Back off.
She parked and got out slowly, her eyes fixed on Storm. She kept her hand near her hip, where I knew she carried a sidearm. Mr. Harrison, she said carefully, we need to talk.
Step away from the animal.
I knew what this was about. Someone had seen Storm. Someone had reported me. Keeping a wild wolf was illegal. And for good reason. Wolves aren't pets. They're apex predators. Even raised from infancy, they're unpredictable and dangerous. He's not hurting anyone, I said. Not yet, Sarah replied. But he's a wolf, Marcus.
Wait, what?
A wild animal. And you've made him dependent on you. Do you know what happens to wolves that get too comfortable around humans? I knew. They got shot. By ranchers protecting their livestock. By hunters who didn't want to take chances. By people who feared what they didn't understand. I'll keep him away from people, I said. Sarah shook her head. It's not enough. Look at him, Marcus. He's fully grown now. His instincts are going to kick in. He's going to start roaming. Hunting. And when he does, someone's going to kill him. Is that what you want? What do you want me to do? My voice came out harsher than I intended. Let him go. Take him deep into the backcountry and leave him there. Give him a chance to find his own pack.
I can't do it.
To live the life he's supposed to live. Storm leaned against my leg, looking up at me with those amber eyes.
You need to leave now.
Trust.
I won't ask again.
Complete and absolute trust.
This is your last chance.
I can't, I whispered.
I hate this.
Then I'll have to
But we
report
might have
this,
to consider
Sarah said
the other
quietly.
option.
And
Please.
Fish and Wildlife will come up
We
here
have to
and
move
take him.
now.
They'll relocate him, and you'll never see him again. Or worse, they'll put him down because he's too habituated to humans. Is that better? She let the question hang in the air. Got back in her truck. And drove away. But her words stayed with me, like a stone in my stomach. That night,
It had to be me.
Storm and I sat by the fire
Never
like
meant to
always.
hurt you.
But everything
I'm
felt
so
different.
sorry.
I couldn't stop thinking about what Sarah had said. About what I'd done to him. In trying to save his life, had I actually doomed him? I looked at him. And he looked back at me.
No, not yet.
And I made the hardest decision of my life.
Ready. Let's go.
I waited until June.
Can't stay.
I told myself I was waiting for the right time.
I'm sorry.
For Storm to be ready. But really, I was just being a coward. Every day I put it off was one more day I got to keep him with me. But Sarah was right. Storm was starting to change. He'd disappear for hours, exploring farther and farther from the cabin. I'd hear him howling at night. Long, mournful calls that made my chest ache. He was calling for others. For his own kind. He needed more than I could give him. I packed light. Just a tent, some supplies, and enough food for a few days. Storm sensed something was different. He stuck close to me as I loaded the truck. His tail low. His ears back. Dogs do that when they're anxious. Wolves do too. I guess. We drove for 3 hours. Deep into the wilderness. I'd chosen a spot I knew from my hiking days. A remote valley with a river and plenty of game. If Storm had any chance of surviving on his own, it would be here. We hiked for another 2 hours. going deeper and deeper into country where humans rarely ventured. Storm ran ahead, then circled back, then ran ahead again. He was excited. This was his element. This was what he was built for. When we reached the valley, I set up camp. We spent one last night together under the stars. Storm curled up next to me like he always did. And I lay there with my hand on his side,
I didn't mean for this.
feeling his breathing, memorizing the warmth of him.
Whimper.
I'm sorry, I
wouldn't
whispered
be
into
here
the
if it wasn't
darkness.
for that wolf.
I should have let you go
He
sooner.
saved me.
I was
It was a
selfish.
miracle.
But I need you to understand
It's
something.
okay, easy now.
You saved me.
We're safe here for the
When I
night.
found you, I was barely alive myself. I'd given up on everything. And you gave me a reason to keep going. Storm's ear twitched,
All right, time to go.
but he didn't move. You're going to be okay out here.
What is happening?
You're strong
Where's
and
our home
smart.
going?
And you'll find your pack. And you'll forget about me. That's how it's supposed to be. My voice cracked on the last word. When morning came, I packed up the tent. Storm watched me,
Stay back!
his head tilted,
Stay back!
confused.
Please,
I
stay!
started walking back the way we'd come. And he followed immediately. Of course he followed. I stopped after 100 yards and turned to face him. No, I said firmly. Stay. He sat, watching me with those eyes that saw right through me. I took another step backward. Stay, Storm. Stay here. This is your home now. I kept walking. He stayed sitting. But I could feel his eyes on me. After 50 feet, I heard him whine. The sound cut through me like a blade. I didn't turn around. If I turned around, I'd break. I'd run back to him and take him home, and damn the consequences. The whining got louder, more desperate. Then I heard his paws on the dirt behind me. He was following. No. I spun around, and he skidded to a stop. You have to stay. You can't come with me. He sat again,
I can't!
but this time
I
he
can't do
howled.
it!
A long, heartbroken sound that echoed through the valley. Other wolves answered from
No.
somewhere far away.
Please, no!
His people. His real family.
Just keep running!
I turned and
Leave
ran.
me alone! No!
Actually ran,
It's gone!
like a coward.
Oh!
I could hear him behind me,
We're never
Following.
getting out of here!
howling,
No!
begging me
Please,
not to
no.
leave him.
I
But
can't
I didn't
do this!
stop. I
I'm
couldn't
sorry.
stop.
So sorry!
By the time I reached the truck, I was sobbing. Great, ugly, choking sobs that came from somewhere deep inside. I slammed the door and started the engine. And through the tears, I saw him emerge from the tree line. He stood there, watching me, understanding, finally, that I was leaving him.
No, not
I
this.
drove
need to find
away.
something else. Where is it?
And in the
Damn
rearview
it.
mirror,
There, got it.
I watched him get
Finally.
smaller and smaller, until he disappeared completely. 3 years. That's how long I lived with the ghost of Storm in my cabin. I threw myself into work. I took on freelance projects from Denver. Stuff I could do remotely. I hiked. I chopped wood. I did everything I could to stay busy. To not think about those amber eyes looking at me in the rearview mirror. But at night, when the cabin was quiet, I'd remember
I had
the
no
weight of
choice.
him against my side,
It was the only
the
way.
sound of his paws on the floor, the way he'd look at me like I was his entire world. I told myself I'd done the right thing, that he was out there somewhere, living free, running with his pack. Maybe he had a mate by now. Maybe he'd forgotten all about me. I hoped he had. It would hurt less if he'd forgotten. Sarah checked in on me a few times that first year. She never mentioned Storm directly, but I could see the question in her eyes. I appreciated that she didn't push. There was nothing to say anyway. The second year was harder. I started seeing wolves near the cabin. Never close enough to be sure. But shapes in the tree line at dusk. Shadows that moved wrong. Once, I found tracks in the snow outside my door.
No.
Massive
can't
paw
be.
prints that made my heart stop.
Not after
But
all
it was
this
never
time.
him. I knew it wasn't him. Storm was gone.
Almost good as
He'd moved on. I tried to do the same.
telling ya, I've got
By the third year, I'd almost convinced
go
myself that I was fine. That I'd healed.
Is that what you want?
That I didn't wake up sometimes reaching for fur that wasn't there. I'd even started thinking about going back to Denver. Maybe it was time to rejoin the world. Maybe I'd hidden in the mountains long enough. Then came the night of October 15th. The night everything changed.
I forgot the stove.
The night my cabin burned.
Oh,
I woke to the smell of
is that
smoke.
gas?
For a few seconds,
No.
I lay there
Is
confused,
that?
thinking
It's
maybe I'd
fire.
left something
Oh,
on the
no.
stove.
It's real.
Then I heard the crackling. I opened my eyes and saw orange light flickering under my bedroom door. Fire. I rolled out of bed, already feeling the heat through the walls. When I opened the door, a wave of smoke hit me so hard I staggered backward. The living room was an inferno. Flames were climbing the walls, consuming the furniture, eating through the ceiling beams.
Nothing.
I had maybe
Nothing
2
at
minutes before the whole structure came down. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand. No signal, of course. I was too far out. I stumbled toward the front door. The heat was incredible. Like walking into an oven. I could feel my skin tightening. My lungs burning with each breath. The front door was blocked. The couch had fallen against it. Fully engulfed. I spun around,
Help!
looking for
Somebody,
another way
please.
out. The window. The bedroom window.
Out!
I
We
ran
need
back,
out. God.
grabbed a chair, and smashed it through the glass. Cold air rushed in, and the fire behind me roared in response, feeding on the oxygen. I knocked out the remaining shards and climbed through, cutting my hands on the glass. Not caring. I hit the ground and rolled away from the cabin, gasping for air. Behind me, I heard a massive crack as one of the support beams gave way. Part of the roof collapsed inward, sending a plume of sparks spiraling into the night sky. I lay there in the dirt, watching 3 years of my life burn. Everything I owned,
No.
every book,
No.
every photo, every memory I'd carried up from Denver. All of it
I'm
gone.
here.
And then I heard it. A howl. Close. Too close. I pushed myself up on my elbows and looked toward the tree line. The fire cast crazy shadows across the meadow, making everything flicker and dance. At first, I couldn't see anything. Then he stepped out of the darkness, even bigger than I remembered. Easily 120 pounds now. All muscle and power. His coat was thick and silver, rippling in the firelight. And his eyes. Those eyes I'd tried so hard to forget. They locked onto mine across the clearing. Storm? My voice came out as a hoarse whisper. He didn't move. Just stood there, watching me. Watching the cabin burn. How did he know? How could he possibly know I was here, in trouble, after all this time?
I can't! My
Another
legs!
beam collapsed with a thunderous crash. Sparks exploded outward,
Help me.
some landing dangerously
God,
close to where I
my
was
hands.
lying. I needed to move.
I'm not
Needed to
getting
get
outta
farther
here.
away before the whole thing came down. I tried to stand, but my legs wouldn't cooperate. The adrenaline was wearing off.
I
can't breathe.
and I realized I was hurt worse than I'd thought.
No.
My hands were bleeding badly from the glass. My lungs felt scorched. My left ankle had twisted when I jumped from the window. I collapsed back onto the ground, coughing violently. Storm started moving. Slowly at first, then faster. He loped across the meadow with that distinctive wolf gait. Efficient. Powerful. Purposeful. He came straight to me. And for the first time in 3 years, we were face to face. He was magnificent. A fully wild creature now. Nothing left of the tiny pup I'd wrapped in my coat. This was what he was always meant to be. But when he looked at me, I saw recognition. I saw memory. He nuzzled my face gently, and a sound came out of me. Half laugh, half sob.
I can't believe
I
it.
reached
You're
up with
real.
my bleeding hands and touched his fur, feeling the same warmth I remembered. You came back, I whispered. Why did you come back? He didn't answer,
Oh, my
of
ankle.
course.
Move!
Instead,
I
he
can't.
grabbed my
It's
jacket
broken.
sleeve in his teeth.
Fire is
Carefully.
coming. Move!
Precisely. And pulled. I understood. He wanted me to move. I can't, I said. My ankle. He pulled harder. Growling softly. Insistent. Behind us, more of the cabin collapsed. The heat was becoming unbearable even at this distance. Storm was right. I had to move, or I'd die here. I gritted my teeth and pushed myself up onto my good
We're almost
leg.
there. Just a little further.
Storm pressed against my side,
Okay.
supporting my
One more
weight,
step.
just like he had when he was a pup, and I was the one holding him up. Together, we hobbled across the meadow toward the trees.
Keep going.
Every step was agony. Every breath felt like inhaling broken glass. But Storm stayed with me, matching his pace to mine, steadying me when I stumbled. We made it to the tree line, just as the rest of the cabin roof gave way, with a sound like the end of the world. I must have passed out, because when I opened my eyes, the sun was rising. The first thing I saw was Storm. He was lying next to me, close enough that I could feel the rise and fall of his breathing. His eyes were open, watching the smoldering ruins of my cabin across the meadow. Standing guard. My hands were covered in dried blood.
Save me.
My ankle was swollen to twice its normal size.
I'm here.
Every muscle in my body
Don't.
screamed in
Don't
protest
hurt me.
when I tried
There's
to
something
move.
over there.
But I was alive. Because of him. Hey, boy, I croaked. His ears swiveled toward me. But he didn't take his eyes off the cabin. Or what was left of it. Just a blackened skeleton of beams, and a still smoking pile of ash. I tried to sit up, and pain lanced through my ribs. Storm immediately turned to me, whining softly. He nosed at my shoulder, trying to get me to lie back down. It's okay, I said. Though it obviously wasn't. I'm okay. I wasn't okay. I was injured. Alone. 12 miles from the nearest help, with no way to call for it. My truck had been parked next to the cabin. I could see its melted remains in the wreckage. No water. No food. No shelter. I should have been panicking. Instead, I felt strangely calm. Storm stayed with me all that day. He left once, around midday, and came back an hour later, with a
But I
rabbit.
need it.
He dropped it at my feet. An offering.
Going.
I almost laughed. After all this time, he was still trying to take care of
We
me.
won't make it.
I couldn't eat it raw,
It's
of course.
spreading.
But the gesture meant everything.
It burns.
As the day wore on, I got weaker. Dehydration was setting in. My hands had started to get infected. I knew I needed medical attention soon, or I wasn't going to make it. Storm knew it too. I could see it in the way he kept watching me. In the anxious circles he paced around our little camp. He'd saved me from the fire. But now what? He couldn't carry me down the mountain.
Trees.
He couldn't call for help. As night fell again,
Is that you?
I started to drift. Fever, probably. My thoughts became fuzzy and disconnected. I saw my ex-wife's face. My old office in Denver. The first time I saw Storm as a pup, those blue eyes looking up at me. I felt Storm curl up against me, sharing his warmth, like I'd once shared mine with him.
Should have trusted him.
Full circle.
Let the wolf choose.
I'm sorry I left you, I mumbled. Not sure if I was talking to Storm or someone else. I thought I was doing the right thing. But maybe the right thing was letting you choose. Storm's answer was to press closer, to rest his massive head on my chest. I closed my eyes and let the darkness take me. I woke up in a hospital. The ceiling was white and sterile. Nothing like the rough wood beams of my cabin. There were machines beeping. And 4 in my arm. Bandages on my hands. For a moment, I couldn't remember how I got here. Then it all came rushing back. The fire. Storm. Passing out under the trees. Storm. I tried to sit up too quickly and immediately regretted it. Pain exploded across my chest and ribs. Easy there, cowboy. Saracen stood up from a chair in the corner. She looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept in days. You've got 3 cracked ribs.
How did I get here?
Second-degree
What
burns
happened?
on your hands. A severely
in an
sprained
accident.
ankle.
We found you
And enough
unconscious.
smoke inhalation to give your lungs a workout. You're lucky to be alive. How? My voice came out as a rasp. How did I get here? Sarah pulled her chair closer to the bed. That's the interesting part. Search and rescue got a call. Anonymous tip about smoke in your area. By the time they reached your property, the cabin was gone and you were unconscious in the woods. They almost didn't find you. Said the tree coverage was too thick. Who called it in? Didn't say. But Marcus. She leaned forward, her expression strange. The rescue team said there was a wolf with you. Big male. He wouldn't let them near you at first. Stood over you like he was protecting you. They had to trank him to get to you. My heart stopped. You didn't. Relax. He's fine. Ran off as soon as the trank wore off. But Marcus, they got a good look at him. And I got a good look at the photos. That was Storm, wasn't it? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "You know what I think?
We did it.
I think you were wrong 3 years ago. About what? About letting him go being the right thing. I think maybe the right thing was trusting him to know what he needed.
Thank you so much.
Because that wolf?
He's here.
He's
I love
wild
you,
as they
Storm.
come
Thank
now.
you.
The
We will
rescue
survive
team
this.
said they saw evidence of a pack in that area.
We will survive this.
He's got a
together.
family. He's living the life he was meant to live. Then why did he come back? I whispered. Sarah smiled. Because once upon a time, on a night he should have died, someone wrapped him in a coat and carried him home.
Forever.
And he remembered. That's the thing about wolves, Marcus. They're loyal to their pack. And apparently, you're still part of his.
Everything, it's all just gone.
Tears burned my
Man,
eyes,
we can rebuild.
I don't know how
mixing
I
with
lost
the
everything.
sting of smoke
Start with
damage.
this. Here's the
The
form.
cabin's gone, I said. Everything's gone. So rebuild. Or don't. But whatever you do, do it because it's what you want. Not because you're hiding. She left me alone with my thoughts. I stayed in the hospital for a week.
I know it's not much,
When they
but it
finally
looks like
released
somewhere.
me,
Yeah, you're right.
Sarah drove me back up the mountain. Not much to see. Just ash and memories. But as we stood there looking at the ruins, I heard it. Far off in the trees. A howl. Long and clear, and unmistakably his. He was still out there. Still wild.
Face it.
Still free. But he remembered. And that made all the difference. I didn't rebuild the cabin. Not right away. Instead, I moved into a small house in the nearest town. Close enough to the mountains to feel them. Far enough from isolation to remember how to be human. I go hiking every weekend. Up to that valley where I left Storm all those years ago. Sometimes I see signs of his pack. Tracks scat. The remains of kills. They're thriving up there. And sometimes, if I'm very lucky and very quiet, I see him. He never approaches. He's too wild for that now. But he watches me from the tree line. Amber eyes glowing in the shadows. Making sure I'm okay. Making sure I'm not alone. People ask me sometimes if I regret saving him. If it was worth it.
I saw the fire and
All
the
the
smoke
pain of
rising.
letting him
It was
go.
everywhere. And
The
that
fear
wolf,
that I'd
the one I
ruined
met
him.
before, it looked at
The
me,
loneliness
and it
that
remembered.
followed. I tell them about that night. About the fire and the smoke, and the moment I thought I wouldn't make it. I tell them about a wolf who remembered a kindness from years ago, and traveled who knows how far to repay it. I tell them that some bonds transcend species, transcend time, transcend every logical reason they shouldn't exist. And then I tell them the truth. Storm didn't just save my life that night. He saved it twice. Once as a pup, by giving me a reason to live when I'd forgotten how. And once as a wild wolf, by reminding me that love, real love, doesn't mean holding on. Sometimes it means letting go. And trusting that the connection will remain. Even across the distance. Even across the wild. The end.